Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am going to get started on the first post-frost cutbacks. I'm going to start here at the feed tank, mostly because this is the bed that I see as soon as I walk out my back door. And of course it's predominantly annuals. I like to keep it that way so that it looks really like interesting and fresh every season. But obviously it needs to be cleaned up and replanted. And I've been debating all day, do I run out to a nursery? What do I want to plant here? I'm still feeling a bit exhausted from my 16-day IPPS tour. So I've decided to just take this in increments, and I'm gonna get it cut back. And really what I've been thinking about doing for this bed is putting in a bunch of different alliums, so things like garlic along the edge, but then Allium schubertii, which has this most amazing flower, and doing a really simple display just with a mix of violas and maybe some direct seeded lettuce, Swiss chard, arugula, mustard, kind of that spicy mixed greens combo. However, in saying that, a lot of my seed is stashed in one of the refrigerators at the Airbnb, and the Airbnb is occupied. So I can't actually get in to get the seed to be able to do the project. So I'm just kind of taking that as a sign from the universe that just do it one step at a time. So today I'm going to go ahead and do the cutback. I always debate on whether I should just cut stuff down and let the roots decompose, or if I should pull them out. And I guess once I get my hands dirty, I'm gonna come to the decision of what makes the most sense. So I hope you will stay tuned for my progress. All right, well, obviously I went with the rip out approach. And that was because, these were primarily largish pots that got planted back in June, and it was just easier to rip the root ball out and make all those cuts. I'd say the second thing that I'm really noticing is how out of shape the bed is. So originally this actually started off pretty symmetrically, and over the years, for some reason, that side is deeper than this side, and also this front edge is really not straight at all. So I'm gonna try and fix that right now. It's also like 1,000,000 degrees out, even though, we've had frost. It's now like I need to go change out of jeans because I'm sweating. I think I've definitely decided I'm going to go ahead and keep this bed super simple this year. Usually what I do is kind of a ring of grains or mustard or something around, just because I like that visual impact. But what I've found with the grains is they end up making a mess in the pool in the spring. So this year I'm just gonna intersperse elephant garlic and the Allium schubertii with a tray of purple, like frosty purple violas, not pansies, violas. They're the smaller flower. They do better here through the winter. And then I'm gonna overseed the whole thing with spicy mixed greens. And I'm going to edge the entire bed with garlic. And what I'm finding is that I've got a lot of garlic that I missed harvesting last spring, and I'm just transplanting it along the edge. I think what I'll do is only do this front section with transplanted garlic. The rest of it I'm going to do with a hardneck variety, which I bought, called Transylvania. And most importantly, I am going to vacuum the pool and get it chlorinated so that it doesn't turn green. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with how the bed looks now, cleared and, well, not edged perfectly, but edged a lot better. And I keep mentioning Allium schubertii, and I wanted to show you, these are the dried flower stalks from the ones that bloomed last May. And I have more of these. My friend Sarah actually found these at Costco, and they've just been sitting in my shed for like a month. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these planted sort of evenly spaced throughout the bed. And then I'm going to do the violas, and then I'm going to do an overseeding. Now, I was just thinking maybe I should overseed some poppies just so I have something to show for the upcoming seed sale and cottage gardening demonstration that we are hosting on Saturday, the 18th of November, and Sunday, the 19th, from 2 to 4 p.m. And basically, we're gonna have the seed staged in the Airbnb, so if it's raining, we're still doing it. And then at 2:30 and 3:30, Aiden and I are gonna take groups out and do hands-on seeding so that everybody can understand exactly how to sow the seeds they're buying. And I figured it would be good to have some beds in the yard already seeded so that people would have the ability to see what it looks like when it germinates. So I'm not gonna do a lot of poppies in here just because from experience, the taller the flower, the messier it is in the water. And in the spring, it becomes it's a real hassle to try and keep up with. But I think I will go ahead and do a few just so that we have it as a reference. And maybe specifically, I'll just do Eschscholzia, the California poppies. See, the more I talk, the better the ideas are. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get all of these planted. And the process is simple. Just dig a hole, drop the bulb in, pointy side up. All right, the garlic planting process is really simple. And remember, the primary purpose is for helping to deter voles that are in the ground that will come in and eat the roots of everything else. It's also really handy because the foliage helps deter deer and rabbits, which I have huge populations of, especially through the winter. Now, I think it's also important to acknowledge that after I get this done, planted, seeded, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my cattle fence panels and edge this entire bed with it from the start because I know that I've got a whole family of deer that are coming in and they will absolutely eat these violas. Now, you can see I've got the vegetative plants of garlic transplanted here along the edge. They're kind of messy. I wanted to do these two short edges with Transylvania, which is a variety of garlic that I bought from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed. And essentially you're just going to break the cloves off of the bulb and then thumb them right into the edge. And you can see with my groundhog, I've just dug a small trench, certainly not more than 2 inches deep. And I basically put the garlic cloves every inch. And then once I get the entire thing planted, I'll just come back through and cover the cloves with the soil on the outside edge. And they typically will start to show growth usually within 10 days to 2 weeks. They are a winter active plant, so they go totally dormant for the summer, which is why I'm finding so much that's vegetative. Those are all garlics that I missed harvesting last June. They went dormant, I missed them, but they come back. But they go totally dormant during the heat of the summer. And as you can see, one garlic bulb got me about halfway through this bed. So I'm gonna have plenty to be able to do both sides and maybe even the back edge. Now here I have a very special garlic that a wonderful lady who came to my J.C. Ralston class last month gave me. And so it's Aglione della Valdichiana from Tuscany. And it's not looking great, but it's still super solid. So I'm gonna break the cloves apart. I'm gonna plant these kind of more in the center back so that I have this video as a reference. And then she gave me some other elephant garlics that I'm also going to include. And you can see the elephant garlics are really big single bulbs. You just plant this whole. So I'm gonna just scatter these again throughout this edge, mixed along with the rest of the soft neck that I bought from Baker Creek called oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Transylvania, oh my gosh. And then I've got some white hardneck that I bought at Wegmans that I'm also going to put in along this edge. Well, as usual, seeding is the last step in my process, and I've got two things that I'm going to seed right now. I probably need another container of mixed greens. This is all I have here. The rest are in the Airbnb, and as I mentioned, it's currently booked, so I'm not going to go in there and get seed. But I'm going to scatter what I can. This is probably going to cover about half. And then I also have this Mission Bells California Poppy, which is Eschscholzia californica. I bought this online from Stover Seed, and it's just a nice mix of different colors. So, you know, the straight species is orange. This one has like dark orange, pink, white, soft yellow, all the different colors mixed. So I think that'll be a really pretty addition. It'll also really be a low to the ground, nearly like a ground cover. So it won't be so tall that the petals, when they're blooming, will fall into the water and create a mess. That's typically what I've done. I generally in this bed go to have at least one element that's taller. And though I like it, I don't like the maintenance that those tall stalks of flowers cause. So hopefully this year I'll be happy with my choice. And it'll be exciting to be able to see what these direct seeded things look like in 2 weeks' time. So that we're hosting the seed demonstration and seed sale on November 18th and 19th. People will actually have something to be able to come out and look at. And that's actually my goal for this week, to strategically do sections of the garden so that I'll have something to be able to show what they look like when they germinate, to really help enforce the concept for everyone who comes out to visit. Now, the seeding process is always super anticlimactic and really easy. All you're gonna do, because I've already raked this out, it's bare soil, I'm literally just going to scatter the seeds on top, and then I'm gonna come through and water one more time because this bed is super dry, because here in central North Carolina, Zone 7, we have not gotten rain since the last time I threw an event. That means it's guaranteed to rain on November 18th and 19th. But that's okay, because remember, the seed sale is going to be inside the Airbnb, so it won't matter if it's pouring outside. Start with the mixed greens. Okay, so essentially with the bowling method, you're going to pour some into your hand. It's quite a bit right there. And then you're just going to take your hand and lightly scatter them out. What you're looking for is a nice even scattering. You don't want them all to fall in one place, because remember, they don't transplant very easily. All poppies develop a taproot that makes them very difficult to move once they've germinated. And as I mentioned earlier, I have just taken these low cattle fence panels that were out front. They were protecting the sweet potatoes all summer. Then moved them here in place to help prevent the deer from eating the violas. And it's pretty specifically the violas that they like to eat. They eat pansies too. And you know, you can cut the cattle fence panel to any size. And then it's also really easy just to bend. So you see, I bent this corner so that it fits kind of perfectly. I literally just stand on it. Let me give you a demo. And you can pull. And just like that, you can make a curve. And if you don't want it curved, you can just step it out and flatten it back out. Cattle fence is definitely always my first line of defense against animals. And even though, of course, they could literally just walk over this, they often don't. I don't have an explanation for why such a simple solution works, but I'm here to offer you simple, practical gardening advice. And cattle fence panels are absolutely a must if you have animals visiting your garden. Well, everybody, I know it's kind of anticlimactic. That's sort of the theme of fall, in my opinion. Eventually, this will look amazing, but it'll take a long time. And really what I'm doing now is for April, May. And it'll be green and it'll have vegetation all winter, but it's not going to be knock your socks off beautiful until, you know, warm days and long days start to kick back in. But I think that it's gonna certainly look good enough for the winter season, and it certainly looks better than it did when I started today with all of those melted coleus and basil plants. And I do hope that you will be inspired to get outside and do some cool season planting. And I do hope that you'll plan to attend our seed sale and cottage gardening demonstration on November 18th and 19th from 2 to 4 p.m. It's free, no registration, rain or shine. Because I'm planning ahead, it'll definitely rain. But I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to be able to share this hands-on experience so everyone can feel confident in exactly how to sow these seeds that make the most beautiful displays in the spring. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Happy gardening.